Beyond Synth 386.
Greetings, this is God. Consider supporting Beyond Synth like these amazing listeners: Mike Shima, Robot Conglomerate, Neverman, Hampus ML, and Restless Nights. Wonderful people, all of them.
Hey there, welcome to Beyond Synth, the best synthwave chat show there is, as we slowly come to the end of Season 11, and all month long we're listening to all the cool songs I didn't have time to play throughout the year, and while we hear the cool music, I'll be chatting with patrons and listeners of Beyond Synth. A patron of Beyond Synth, by the way, is a cool person who donates money by going to patreon.com/BeyondSynth, which is about the coolest fucking thing I can think of. So now, let's kick the show off with some Astral Stereo Project from his album Somewhere in My Mind. This is Explorer. And that was the Astral Stereo Project with Explorer. And that's a cool song. And now we are going to chat with some awesome Beyond Synth patrons. And I'm here with one right now. He goes by Tron Javolta, but he's also called Mark. Is that correct?
That's correct, Andy. How are you?
I'm great. This is the best day of my life.
Is it? Yeah.
Well,
everything's good.
Every day above ground, man.
Yeah. I love it, man.
I've never said that expression in my life. So, tell me a bit about Mark. What do you do? What do you like to do? What makes you tick?
Oh, wow. Dang, that's a great question, man. So I have 4 boys at home, so just really busy with them and doing stuff with my wife, Kathy, and I work for Dropbox, the file share company. I'm a security engineer there, and I love music. I've always had a desire to make music, but I, for some reason, don't have the time. So I buy a lot of music, digital and vinyl, and I even bought a little synthesizer and some drum machines and stuff to play with, but like I just never have all that much time to do it. But some one of these days.
Well, hey man, sometimes it's just fun to just noodle away on a keyboard as a relaxation method.
It's kind of therapeutic.
Wait, so you work for Dropbox?
Yeah, they're still around.
I had an account and then I had to close it at one point because I wasn't really using it. And I would get these emails all the time reminding me that I have to upgrade my storage.
Oh yeah, Dropbox is a useful service that is enjoyed by millions of people around the world.
It certainly is. And I tell you what else is enjoyed by millions of people around the world. Awesome music. Okay, well maybe those millions of people don't listen specifically to this show, but that's not the point. The point is, I got one here from Donbor. So how about we listen to this and then we'll keep chatting about something else. So this is Donbor with Oxy 2. And that was Oxy 2 by Donbor. That's a cool song. We're in Andy's playlist warehouse right now. I'm playing all the songs that I didn't get to this year, and of course chatting with awesome people, like awesome listeners and people who support the show, like the guy I'm chatting to right now, Mr. Tron Javolta, Mark. So listen, do you work from home?
I do work from home. It's a challenge, I would say, because the kids are around and sometimes there's a pressure to, help out with things around the house. So it's kind of a gift and a curse. Like, I like being around the family and stuff like that, and I can help out. But, sometimes when you're trying to get stuff done, you have to kind of buckle down, and it can be a challenge.
Hey, you mentioned before that you have, that you're buying lots of music and vinyls and stuff. Where do you put your vinyls?
Oh man, I've got this really nice vinyl shelving unit. It's like how you go into a old record store, and you know how you can flip, they have those bins where you can flip through, like all the records are facing you. I got one of those, and I put all my good stuff in there. And then I have another desk kind of unit for the turntables, which I think is kind of cool. I've got some neon lights set up behind it.
Wait, so where do you put all this?
Oh, it's in my house.
Well, I get that, but I mean, do you have a space? Is there a man cave or
Yeah, I got in the den. We have a nice little room. I can put all that stuff in. It's I work in there sometimes, so I can kind of put on my tunes and do some hacking. It's all good.
What is the definition of a den?
It's just a place you can retire to and feel comfortable. I don't know. What do you have in your den, Andy?
I don't have a den.
No?
Or at least I don't know what a den is. So, no, I don't think so. I'm in a room.
So where do you do this? Do you have an office?
I do now.
Nice.
Well, because I live at my dad's house. So his house is larger than our old apartment. And so I do have a space. I've covered it with moving blankets for sound.
Nice.
Because it's just a little tiny room. And the cat, Johnny, has been fucking tearing it up because basically it's like floor to ceiling moving blanket. And so he climbs all the way up to the ceiling.
That sounds awesome for a cat.
They're really high ceilings, so it is funny. It gives them something to do.
The sound is immaculate. It sounds really good.
But you say you also you got musical equipment and stuff that you have no time for. Where does that go? Is that in the den too?
It is in the den. I have a couple of Techniques turntables that I bought right out of college, and I upgraded the mixer. I've got a SJ9, I think, the Serato compatible 2-channel mixer, which is kind of nice. So it's got some effects, and it's got enough for me to kind of noodle around with, but nothing too crazy. So I have a mini Korg, and that's kind of fun. I kind of painted it too. I'll send you a picture. It looks kind of cool, I think. So I have that, and then I have those mini Korg little things. There's a little drum machine and a little mini synth. They're fairly cheap. They're easy to come by, and the kids like them. It's just something to kind of play around with,
That sounds like a lot of things to not have time for.
Exactly. Yeah, I think I just kind of collect them and display them in the den, whatever that is.
This sounds like a really cool den.
Yeah, maybe sometime you can come down and see it, Andy.
Well, I love spending time in people's dens, and I also love listening to cool music. All right, so we'll keep talking, but I want to listen to another track. So I got one here from Field Plan. I believe it's called Field Plan. It's spelled FLDPLN. These modern artists who hate vowels, but it's a good time, and we're gonna dig it. We're gonna dig it. All right, listen. This is Field Plan with "I Want to Talk About Love." And that was I Want to Talk About Love by Field Plan from the album Escalator. We're here at Andy's playlist warehouse listening to cool music and chatting to cool people like Tron Javolta, aka Mark. So what else goes on then? You're doing this, you're working. I hear the sound of rambunctious kids running around in the background.
Yeah, I've got 4 boys, ages 14 to 19 months. So yeah, life is pretty busy.
Well, that sounds crazy.
Oh God. I mean, the stories of 4 boys, but they're all pretty good with each other. I think we're pretty lucky that they're all pretty good friends. They fight from time to time. And my wife is a ex-Marine, or she's a Marine. So she tends to help me keep them in line pretty good. Yeah. So they get into some stuff, but they're good boys.
Your wife is a Marine?
Yeah. She was in the Marines. She got out in like 2000.
Oh, okay.
We're old, man.
Okay.
Yeah. But she's a dental hygienist now, so...
Then if the fucking patient's like being rude and stuff, she'll be like, hey man, do you like some fucking Marine karate chop? I don't know much about the Marines.
Like when they don't floss and stuff, it's crazy.
Do you run the house like a military organization?
Well, I don't. Like, it's definitely not my... I'm more... I have an interesting kind of parenting strategy, and I guess when I was single dadding it a little bit, that was... The boys probably had a little too much leeway. So now they're definitely benefiting from Miss Kathy.
That's interesting because I got another patron, Waylon Kasky Geospatial, or Kyle, and his wife is a deputy, and he's like serving somewhere overseas. So I'm starting to learn a lot about my demographic. It's guys in IT who like ladies in uniform.
Are they Canadian or are they?
No, an American.
The American? Okay.
We don't have police up here.
You have mounties. They're all riding horses.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. But yeah, so it's definitely good to have both parenting styles, I think, when you're bringing up kids. It's still a good cop, bad cop kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah, I get it. Luckily, our kids don't fight too much, but like our cats are always wrestling each other, and I have to pull them off each other sometimes because like Johnny's just a kitten, and so he's just like this little ball of energy just like flying all over the place.
Yeah, it's like you're a new dad all over again.
Yeah.
So.
And then when they're done wrestling with each other, my wife puts Johnny and gives him a little bath and swaddles him. And so I'm like holding this little swaddled kitten. He's like a little baby Yoda because he's got they're like those flat face cats with like the big eyes, and like it's fucking hilarious to look at.
That's sweet. I love cats, man, but I'm the only one in the household, so.
For me, like I'm always in my own world, so I like cats because they just sort of pop in and out and they're not so much responsibility. Although these flat face cats are a little bit more responsibility because like you got to clean their faces and stuff.
A little more maintenance.
Yeah, there's a bit more maintenance. I had to shave his ass too.
Ooh.
Because they're fluffy.
Oh.
They're really fluffy, and I've never had a fluffy cat like this before. And so that was something I didn't know about, was like, oh, sometimes like they'll just walk out of the litter box and stuff is stuck to them because their hair is so fluffy.
It's cat dingleberries.
Yeah, exactly. But it's kind of worse and gross. But look, the point is this. We're going to keep chatting, but we're going to listen to some music. I like throwing to somebody's song after I talk about a cat getting shit stuck in its fur. Here's a cool track from Emil Rottmayer. This is Dream Sync. And that was Dream Sync by Emil Rottmayer today on Andy's Playlist Warehouse. And I'm here right now with Mark, aka Tron Javolta. We're talking about the Marines. We're talking what are we talking about?
Dingleberries.
Yeah, man. So look, before I hang up on you, is there something you wanted to talk about? I keep on directing these conversations into stupid places.
No, you do a great job. I was trying to think back to how I stumbled upon Beyond Synth, and I think I got into synthwave kind of stuff through this guy Chrome Canyon. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but I used to be a fan of like the Stone's Throw label, and so I that kind of got me into synthesizer music like, I don't know, probably 10 years ago. And then I listened to a lot of house music, and I stumbled upon FM Attack, and then I think he like reposted your show on SoundCloud or something, and I gave it a listen. I remember just thinking to myself, I liked your style of interviewing, and it was just, you just like weave in these like little jokes and stuff, and your self-deprecating humor I always appreciated. Like, I really enjoyed it. And then I heard Ollie Rides. So this is like around 2020, and Ollie Rides Stranger Love with Sunglasses Kid. I loved that song, and like it all clicked for me. So yeah, I don't know, I got into synthwave and retrowave like, I don't know, a decade late or something like that, but at least I got into it. So I met my wife around the same time, and a lot of the music that I found on your podcast actually worked its way into, that was, I think Stranger Love was our wedding song, and I think I had some Vandal Moon songs in there, and like, yeah, it was like very poignant music, very cool community at a very important time in my life. And so like, yeah, I just want to say thanks for that.
Hey man, well, thank you for being a cool guy and supporting the show. Listen, the idea of playing synthwave and like this kind of music stuff at a wedding makes me happy, because I have this thing, I get really annoyed at the radio and like the repetition, and I've been to a lot of weddings, and a lot of times it like doesn't matter who the people are, I end up hearing the same songs, and like everyone's guilty of this, so like I'm not pointing blame, but it's just like, there's only so many times when it's just like, oh, everyone gonna start dancing, and then like, celebrate good times. I'm like, wow, what an original pick.
Yeah.
There's just these things that start to drive me nuts, where it's like, I hope we get to hear Jackson 5 next. And I remember in like the 2000s, I was at a few weddings because I was like helping film them. And dude, fucking Amazed by Lone Star. There was these songs that would just come on, like everyone just like, this is our song, fucking Baby I'm Amazed by You, or whatever that. There was another one around that time too, the 2000s, when there was like that, a lot of like the kind of pop country stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And it wound its way into like a lot of wedding playlists. There's like, I Hope You Dance. Remember that song? Fucking I Hope You Dance.
Yeah.
By some lady.
I remember.
There was just bad songs, and like they drove me nuts because like everyone was using them, and there was no like character or originality to any of these sort of like wedding playlists. So what I'm saying is I'm happy that you did that.
Yeah, no, it's like the music at a wedding, I think you got to really represent yourself and your partner, right? Like, I think so. It was nice to, those important songs in my life and into that, which I thought was, yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I'm totally with you, man. You got to have soul.
I mean, again, like, look, if Celebrate Good Times is your favorite song, great. But like, I just feel like so many weddings I've been to, it's like they don't represent the people.
Exactly.
They'll have like these plates for dinner of like, for us, we did the cheap thing. So like we literally just got married at a town hall, and then we had like a party in the summertime.
That's cool.
Where we did like a fake ceremony. Like, so I had my friend be the guy. We'd already been married, so it was just like for show.
Nice.
So we just had like a tent, hired a tent, put it in the backyard. And I'm like, well, look, man, burgers are my favorite food. I want burgers at the wedding. Like, I don't want some fucking like 8-course fucking chicken fillet or whatever. Like, I want burgers because that's what I want to eat on that day.
Yeah.
And I want Deep and Delicious cake as the cake, because like McCain Deep and Delicious, I don't know if they have that in the States, but there's this McCain Deep and Delicious cake, and it's like cheap chocolate cake with the fucking chocolate frosting on it, and it's not like high class at all. And we had a TV with GoldenEye on it. Yeah. We had a TV with a Wii connected, and I think there was like a projector screen with Rock Band, because this is like, what year was this? Remember Rock Band?
Oh yeah. Andy, I was alive in the 60s, man. Yeah. So.
Well, look, how about this? Well, I'll say goodbye to you, but let's listen to a song first, and then we'll do like a proper goodbye. So I want to listen to this one from Francci. This is Night Shift.
I'm calling you on the night shift to Tell about the dreams I had this time. Spending days in a spaceship, traveling beyond our eyes could shine. But it don't matter how it goes, it always goes back to you. I still remember how it was. Looking back to every place I go, I know that you'll be waiting for the right time to recall the memories of tomorrow and always. Tomorrow and always. Yeah. Last night I thought I would not try this time again. My eyes hit the streets like photograph I can't take back. It's hard to keep on moving when my head is moving me to the other side. Trapped in flashlights, looking back to every place I go. I know that you'll be waiting for the right time to recall the memories of tomorrow and always. Tomorrow and always.
And that was Night Shift by Francci. I hope I'm saying that right. It's like Francci. That's Francci to me. And look, we're here. It's Andy's Warehouse, Playlist Warehouse. And I'm here chatting with awesome listeners and supporters like Mr. Tron Javolta, alive in the 60s.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. That's like, didn't you tell me earlier you're like in your 40s? That makes sense. That math doesn't line up.
Hey, good catch. Good catch.
Yeah, man. So what, you got any cool plans? I'll say goodbye to you, but you got any cool plans for the holidays coming up?
We're hosting Thanksgiving at home in Baltimore. Then we're heading to Chicago and then Nashville for some friend stuff and some work stuff. So yeah. And then it'll be Christmas. So it's going to be a busy next month for sure, but it should be good. What about yourself? I interview you now, Andy?
Yeah. Technically, we've already had our Thanksgiving because Canadian Thanksgiving is in October. The only real reason why I even have any knowledge of American Thanksgiving now is because they did start doing Black Friday up here, and Black Friday in Canada, it's the same as the American one.
Just people get shot and stuff?
Well, no, I mean, it's just the same dates.
Sorry. Narrow it down, Andy.
I think there's less tramplings.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I wouldn't dare fucking go shopping on Black Friday. What a stupid... honestly, not that people deserve what they get, but I mean, if year after year, it's just like, hey, there's a lot of sales and some people get crushed and there's murders, I'd be like, well, I'll just go on Amazon. I mean, they got sales too, man. Best Buy, you don't need to go to the crushing store.
I can't figure that one out. Maybe AI will help us there someday.
Yeah. I'm fairly risk averse. It's like, unless I really care about something, I very rarely put myself in purposeful harm's way. Like, my wife was trying to hang these Christmas lights on a tree outside, and we had to get like a tall ladder. And like halfway up the ladder, I'm like, no. Yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to fucking die for this stupid Christmas. I don't give a fuck about Christmas lights. There's certain things where, like, if I end up dying for this thing that I don't care about, I mean, I'll be dead, so I guess I won't have any say. But it'll be this stupid, like, I didn't even want to do this. You know, if someone's
It's not the way you want to go.
I'm sure my death will be lame, but I mean, there's nothing worse than like someone getting you to do a chore and then like, oh, can you carry these downstairs? And if I fucking fall down the stairs and break my neck carrying somebody else's shit, I'm gonna be like, I didn't even want to do this.
Remember the Nintendo Classic?
Yes.
Well, I waited in line on Black Friday for that 8 years ago now, and it didn't get one. So that was the only time I actually tried.
Yeah, I never lined up for Black Friday. Like, I did a few lining up at midnight for like new release things. Like, I lined up for GTA 4, and that lineup wound like all the way through the big mall downtown Toronto. I lined up for a Nintendo Wii day one outside of a Best Buy and ended up being the last person on the list because the store just let some nerd handle the list like he wasn't even an employee. Because
That's hilarious.
They did this thing where they were going to have units to sell for people who didn't pre-order, so you had to wait in line and you might get on the list. And then what else? Oh, and then I lined up for GTA 5, and that was another midnight launch, and well, look, I'm hanging up on you now. So look, listen, you have a lovely day. Thanks for your support, and good luck having lots of kids and all that stuff.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for doing this, and thanks for everything.
All right, man. Take care, dude. All right, and that was my chat with Tron Javolta, aka Mark, cool guy. And now let's listen to another song and then go chat with somebody else. So here is an awesome one from ZODIAC. This is Rebirth. And that was Rebirth from Zodiac on Andy's Playlist Warehouse. We're going to talk to another listener of Beyond Synth who's on the line right now. This is Timo, correct?
Yeah, Timo. Timo Pesonen.
Wait, say that last thing?
Pesonen.
Pesonen.
Yes.
Why does that sound familiar? Have I said your name before out loud?
Yes, we talked about David Hasselhoff's Baywatch Nights before.
Oh, okay, that was you.
Yep.
Yeah, because I know I talked about it on the roundtable with Marco and Florence and Michael, but I forgot who told me about it. I just knew, like, I know a listener told me to watch fucking Baywatch Nights, and I couldn't remember who it was.
No biggie, no biggie. It was when I was installing Baldur's Gate 3 and you were doing something with Discord.
I keep testing all these things, and I think, like, here, I can do this. I'll do a regular live stream on the fucking Discord or whatever, and then I do it one day, and then I and then I forget everything.
I understand.
So, tell us a bit about Timo. What do you do?
Well, currently I'm studying to become music producer and I've been already making music, but right now I'm doing music for 2 different games at the same time. The other one is a 3D platformer and the other one is a science fiction puzzle game.
What's the 3D platformer about? Are these secrets right now?
Well, that is very early stages. There isn't a whole lot about it. I just have done one swamp level, so it's not much to talk about yet.
Is this something you're doing like officially, or are you just starting? Like, how are you getting clients? Are these people you know, or?
Well, I found the 3D platformer gig from our gaming Discord where one went like, hey, is there anyone who can actually do this stuff? And I went like, yeah, I can do that. And the other one was by joining a global game jam and looking for their people who were looking for musicians or some other programmer or something like that. So that way I got involved to that.
Was a game jam like a thing you actually went to physically, or was this like an online
No,
game
it's
jam?
over internet.
Okay.
It's a Discord server. Anyone can join into it and join a group if they want to get part in that kind of thing.
I always thought the point of game jams was like that thing where you make a game in like a weekend.
Oh yes, it still is that, but it is basically just a site where they go like, oh, we are going to have a team at this thing and you have then 1 week to do it. But of course there is other people who are like, hey, we are doing different games while this game jam isn't going on, so is there people who want to help with that?
How do they police it though? Like, isn't that the whole point, is like to see what people can come up with in a short amount of time? Like, how can you tell what they're doing if everyone's working online?
I guess it is some sort of honor system.
Do they do the things like, sometimes they do these little film festivals where they'll do like 48-hour film festival, but they give people a topic?
Yeah, it is. So in this one it is, I don't know yet what the theme is, or I don't remember what the theme is, but it is revolving also around some sort of theme.
Right, okay. Well, look, man, we gotta... We'll keep talking about this game jam stuff, but first I want to listen to some music, all right?
All right.
So I got a track here from ZAYAZ. This is Afterburner. And that was Afterburner by ZAYAZ, or ZAYAZ. I've never totally known how to say that, but it's a cool song. We're having Andy's playlist warehouse. We're listening to tons of awesome music and talking to cool people like Mr. Timo, who is making some music for some games.
Yep.
So what kind of, I guess you say you're doing a 3D platformer and sort of like a cyberpunky puzzle game, was it?
Yeah, the cyberpunky puzzle game is about running that kind of a Reaper dog that fixes other people's cybernetic augments. There is going to be a hardware side and software side as a mini game, kind of like Papers, Please, where you have to balance your money, and so you might have a mission where someone doesn't have enough money to pay for that, so you have to think, will you do it for cheaper or will you just say no? At least that is what I understood, and it is going to have a visual novel kind of stuff where you have a conversation with the people.
It's a funny new genre that's cropped up, is these sort of like shopkeeper games, because there's a bunch now I've noticed where like the whole purpose of the game is like you run a shop or you own a bakery or you whatever, and so like this is sort of like the cyberpunk version where you're like a Ripper doc, but like that's the game.
Yeah, I guess it is just something that you can do very small size and you don't need to think so much about the world outside of that little confined space.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Good for a small group of people doing that.
Yeah, well, that sounds like an interesting concept. So, like, besides that, though, like, are you playing anything right now?
I'm currently playing Alan Wake 2, and before that I played the newest Yakuza game.
I've never played a Yakuza game, so I find the naming confusing. Every day I see some guy with sort of an afro and like a purple jacket.
Yeah, that is Ichiban. He's the newest protagonist.
Yeah, so I get confused because I just saw one that was called like Yakuza Like a Dragon Gaiden or something. It was like this big long stupid title.
Yeah, that is a side story that takes place between Yakuza 6 and 7. That also ties into the 8, the next one that is coming out.
I saw one that looked like it might actually be appealing to me, where you run a resort on like a little beach island.
Yeah, that is the next one that is coming out. I think it is called Like a Dragon Infinite of Wealth. It takes place in Hawaii.
I've been enjoying those sorts of games more. I never thought I would. Like I got into Stardew Valley. That kind of game would have never interested me before, but then for some reason I was like, actually this is pretty addictive. And then I also played this other game called Graveyard Keeper, and it's the same kind of thing like Stardew Valley, where you just manage a graveyard, and I mean you have like little side missions. You can go into the mines, and you get materials and you get dead bodies, and you have to like take the stuff off them, and then you use the resources and shit. But I like those games, but I also like when there's some kind of action element. So I liked in Stardew Valley how there was also like like a well you would go into and you'd fight monsters, and so that Yakuza game looks kind of fun because you do manage a beach resort, but it looks like there still was like fighting and stuff.
All the games are kind of different now after the 7, because the new main character, he has played all his live Dragon Quest games, so he sees every fight like a Dragon Quest fight.
Right.
And that's why it is a turn-based.
Okay, but the mainline Yakuza games, they're like kind of Grand Theft Auto-y, right?
They are more like Shenmue, if you remember the whole game.
I never played Shenmue. Everyone always talked about the voice acting.
Well, it's a horrible voice acting, but also funny because there is absolutely awesome lines like, I used to be Chinese once.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a classic. That's the one I know. Back in the era of like the fucking Resident Evil games and stuff with just those awesome lines.
Itoi-san, how do you know about the 3 blades?
Years ago, I was Chinese.
The Yakuza games, they are more like you have a little section of a town and you run around it and do a little quest and play karaoke games and other mini games or other Sega games. If you go to the Sega Club, they have running emulators there that allows you to play Virtua Fighter and Outrun. And they are fun, and I would recommend you to start on Yakuza 0, because then you don't have any baggage of their previous stories.
Well, like they rebooted it?
No, Yakuza 0 is just, hey, we go back to the beginning and tell a story before Yakuza 1, what the main characters did back in the 80s.
Well, one of these days, man, it's on my list, along with a million other things. But look, I tell you what else is on my list is listening to cool music, so let's listen to this track from Darwinmcd. This is Maybe. that was Maybe by Darwinmcd on Andy's playlist Warehouse, listening to cool songs I've collected throughout the year and talking to cool people like Timo, who's just sitting around. So like when you're just getting into this, game scoring and stuff now. So like, what are you normally doing?
Well, I'm IT tech. I'm doing IT support normally, but now I decided I just want to change careers, and I've been making music and Commodore 64 remixes for a long time, and so I've thought, why not try and make actually music for games?
What's your favorite Commodore 64 music that you've remixed?
It might be Ghost and Goblins.
Is there something specific about the Commodore version of that song?
No, not really. I just got a new plugin and I had a good guitar sound, so it became my favorite. But if you ask me tomorrow, it might be some other track.
I'm partial to Commando.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Commando is so awesome. That fucking song is awesome.
Especially on back when the remake came out and you could hear the old Commodore 64 tune on it, on those top-down stages.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've said this before, but like what makes those old video game music special kind of like is the sounds. Like obviously they have got these cool melodies and stuff, but then sometimes I would hear like metal remakes and I didn't like them as much. You know what I mean? There was still something cool about trying to make like a hardcore like metal song or whatever, but doing it with the chiptune sounds.
The limitations of 3 channels.
Yeah, man. Like I feel that way about a lot of them. Like when I listen to Castlevania orchestrations or Zelda orchestrations or whatever, where these songs do sound good performed by an orchestra, but there's still something special about those chiptune versions.
I absolutely love especially Commodore 64 sounds, and I have my Commodore 64 still that I played now and then, and I'm on a process of making it into a synthesizer so I can use it on my music.
That's cool. I found some old cartridges. We used to have a Commodore a long time ago, and we had some cartridges, and most of the discs were all like pirated game discs or whatever.
Yep.
I've got... What the fuck was that game called? Gateway to Ashfi,
I think it was.
I've got like 5, but I don't have a Commodore to play them on, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there is also very good combination of people taking all those old games and made a ROM dump of them, and you can download them.
You know what bugs me though? I never can get Commodore emulators to... Like, you still have to sort of understand and remember how Commodore works, and I don't. Like, I forget all that fucking Lodestar, 8 crap.
I think you need to push Control-Alt, Commodore sign to quick shortcut for that loading.
Okay, because that's what bugs me, because whenever I would load up Commodore emulators, I kind of forget how to even play the games. Like there's some games where I'm like, does a joystick even work here? Do I need the keyboard? The keyboard's not mapped correctly. Like it's so much easier to play like Nintendo and Sega ROMs and stuff.
Oh yes, and I think that is the biggest downfall on PC and Commodore and Amiga retro game is that you need to know that stuff out, like DOS commands and what to do when the game says you don't have enough memory, so that you know the command to disable mouse or something like that.
Yeah, it's too complicated for me, man. I'm an old man.
And I'm nowadays very lazy, so I don't really care for that much.
Well, look here. Let's listen to another song, and then maybe we can. I'll hang up on you, but you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. That's the next segment. So I'm going to give you a whole song to think.
All right.
And then when we come back, you can tell me the most important thing you've ever told anybody. How about that?
All right.
Let's listen to this track from 7DD9 from the album Incomplete Circle. This is End of the Line. that was End of the Line by 7DD9. And we are now at the end of the line for Timo, because I'm going to hang up on you.
Oh no.
What's coming up, man? You got some cool plans for the holiday?
Well, a few weeks ago I found from flea market a original Xbox for 30 euros, and I got it. Well, it didn't have any cables, and so I bought it anyway because I got 2 controllers with it. So that was a good price. And I've been trying to tinkering it to work, and I finally got it working yesterday.
Do you mean like you actually like soldered a cable to...
well, yes. First I tried to do it, but then I realized my skills aren't good enough as my dad, so I brought it to him and went like, hey, can you do this? I might break something if I try and do it more.
Wait, does your dad do this stuff?
He used to be an electric engineer.
Ooh.
So he knows his stuff around all kinds of circuits and such.
So what did you have to do? Did you have to like build a new power cable?
New power cable, new audio-visual cable, and then one of my friends went like, hey, you better check inside, because there is a thing from that era that the capacitors might go bad. Yeah, and I learned about this thing called capacitor plague that happened around 2007.
Is this like the red ring of death?
Basically, yes, and it would kind of destroy your Xbox completely by making it so it leaks and destroys the PCB. What I understood that there was a engineer that left from Japan and stole a capacitor blueprint, but he didn't know that there was a flaw, and brought it to China, and there was a factory who started making those, and worker from there went to Thailand, and it basically the same blueprint spread around Asia, and there was a whole batch of people making the same malfunctioning capacitors. Of course, they realized it later when they started to break down, and everyone was wondering why they are breaking down.
Wait, so this is a problem that plagues all old Xboxes?
The newest versions of old Xboxes don't have that problem, but every other ones do. So you need to, anyone who has them, you should open up and check if there are leaking ones and replace them if you can, or get them to a person who can do that if you are interested about playing that old games with that machine still.
Well, the bottom line is, did you get it working?
Yes, but it also had mod chip in it. It was a pleasant surprise. I didn't need to do anything, so I can change the hard drive if it fails down the line. But that wasn't installed correctly, because now it only starts up when I do it, so that it should be disabled. When you start up the Xbox, you press the eject disk button. It should disable the mod chip. But on my machine, it enables it, so I can use the machine. But it shows error code on the little glow wheel around the power button.
So what does that mean then?
Well, it means that it works, but it just says that, hey, there's some problems here. This is not the original parts, because there is another hard drive that is not the original one.
Does that mean you can't play certain games, or is it just...
Oh, I can play every game, and I can dump my games that I own to PC, and from there to the machine using a network cable.
What do you plan on playing? What's the Xbox One game that you want to play?
There was one game that I have not been able to play because From Software or Activision or anyone they don't really release a new version of it, and that is Tenchu. It's a ninja stealth game.
I remember that game.
There was a good one that is a remake of the first Tenchu on Xbox, so I was able to get to play that.
Look at you, eh? Yeah. Lucky guy.
I think it would have been a whole lot easier for me to just buy a working Xbox instead of buying the parts and the cables and such, but I felt like this was a good little side project for me.
Yeah, man, and a little side project for me is interrupting conversations to play cool music. So here is a track from Ogster. This is After Summer. And that was After Summer from Ogster on Andy's Playlist Warehouse. And while we listen to all the awesome music I've collected throughout the year, I'm chatting to cool listeners of Beyond Synth, like Timo, who just told us about the things he's learned restoring an old Xbox, which sounded like a fun project. I'm actually trying to build an arcade machine, and it's happening very, very slowly because it's like first thing I've ever really built out of wood in my life.
Are you going to put a PC inside or some other?
So I bought recently a retro shooter, which is basically it's a Pandora's box with like arcade ROMs, and it comes with 2 guns and then 2 sensors, LED sensors, kind of like a Wii remote, where you put one on each side of the TV, and then you can use the light gun. The emulation of the arcade games isn't perfect, like they're in their regular resolution, because I know if I had a computer, I could run the Dreamcast games at like a higher resolution and stuff.
Yeah.
And Dreamcast has a lot of really good light gun games.
Oh yes, House of the Dead.
Yeah, there's House of the Dead. There's this other series that I had never played before, which was really good too, where you're sort of like these spies and whatever. But the point is, I got it to just play the gun games, and I thought maybe I'll make a cabinet that's just to play the gun games. So it's not going to have regular controllers, it'll just have but then I thought, well, if I'm going to build a cabinet, I might as well, because that Pandora's box also has regular arcade ROMs on it as well.
Yeah.
So I said, fuck it, but I'm not using any plans. So we had one spare piece of plywood that was from like an old project years ago that never got used, because I'm only using scrap wood, like from my basement, just wood I can find.
Well, that's a whole lot better than some people who make arcade sticks using cardboard boxes and such.
Yes, although, if I did it in cardboard, I could have maybe used that as like a stencil, because like this is the first thing I've ever built out of wood, so I'm sort of making it up as I go. I've made the side panels and then I just sort of connected them with the shelves, because the shape of the arcade is really that side, like with the marquee, and then the thing dips down and goes on a diagonal, and then there's like a controller. And so I made those pieces first, and I just started connecting them, so I didn't even know how high the monitor was going to be.
Are you going to put on LCD or one of those CRT monitors?
No, it'll be LCD. So it is widescreen. So the machine itself is like, the dimensions are kind of different than a regular arcade. It's going to be it's going to be shallower. So it's only going to be like 2 feet long, but it's going to be wide because it's a widescreen TV.
Yeah.
So it's going to be sort of like fatter to look at. But a lot of the people who make arcade machines now, that's what they look like, because they use widescreen TVs, because no one makes big square LCDs.
No, you are correct. Are you planning on making it so that you can turn the monitor on its side so that you can have those shoot 'em up games?
No, this is sort of like a test, because I've never built something like this before. And since I'm doing it in order and making it up as I go, I don't even know if the buttons I bought even work yet. I've built part of the frame of the of the arcade, but I don't even know if the buttons work. I haven't tested them. I don't even know if I can plug them into this box. So that's going to be a fun thing to find out. Like, if it turns out they don't work, then I might, get like a RetroPie or something and not use the Pandora's box. It's just because it's already made, right? The thing's already loaded with ROMs, and it already has like a menu system and stuff. It's just meant to be something that you just play for like half hour every once in a while. It's not like it's a hobby.
Oh yes. Tell me, do you have Virtual Cop on those? Yes, Virtual Cop 2 is one of my favorite light gun games.
The ones that are most nostalgic for me is like Lethal Enforcers. That one is like really nostalgic for me just because they had that in my arcade and stuff. So I think when I first played Virtual Cop, it was on my computer just with a mouse.
That is how I also played it, and House of the Dead was also that way.
Yeah. Well, look, man, listen.
Yeah.
Well, how about this? We'll listen to a song and then I'll hang up on you. So I want to listen to this one from Kidburn. This guy makes awesome music, and this is called Last Days of You.
But I won't
right, and that was Last Days of You by Kidburn. And I'm here with Timo, but I'm gonna hang up on you for real now.
All right, it was pleasant talking to you.
Yeah, man. So what you got something coming up exciting you want to say before I press the button?
No, I already said most stuff, so no.
Well, look, I hope you have a lovely holiday. How about that?
You too. And all the listeners.
Yeah, and keep being a cool guy, and I hope the video games you're working on, that works out, and you can let me know when they come out or when there's a demo or something.
We are planning on getting demos out soon as possible. I'm going to post a link to it on the Discord server, so you probably should join Beyond since Discord listeners.
You think I should probably tell people to do that, eh? Like,
Nah.
All right, man. Well, listen, you have a lovely holiday, and keep being cool, and we'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
All right, that was Timo, and now we got another caller on the line, so say hello to Ethan, who has gone by many aliases over the years of supporting Beyond Synth. You'd change your Patreon name all the time and confuse me. We had Toots. What was the rest of them?
Oh, God. I knew you were going to ask this. I should have gone back and checked it out.
Bobson Doug Nut, right?
Oh, God. That was a classic. Darwinmcd.
That's right, Darwinmcd.
Jizzwhaler. COVID 1986.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah, there was a lot. Well, okay, so a lot of them was, I don't even remember what it was. You found some Japanese baseball game or something?
Yeah.
That killed me, man. I was like, I want to use every single one of these names. It was like Kevin Noggleny or something like that.
Yeah, it was all these made-up American names from like I think it was like a Japanese Super Nintendo baseball game. It was called like Fighting Baseball or something. I mean, like the fake names were the best part. But
I got Bobson Dugnut. That was gold.
What have you been up to lately?
So, like, as far as our cider business, we're looking at actually moving production into a larger space and expanding that.
And so, to remind the audience, you have a cidery where you make hard cider and people can drink the cider, and you also ship the cider to some regions around you, right?
We're very much local. Like, we have like a company we work with that kind of like covers licensing to get into whatever state in the US and ship to pretty much any individual that wants it.
And remind people the name of this cider company.
Wild Terra Cider.
All right, Wild Terra Cider. And you also distribute it to where?
Midwest, upper Midwest. So like we distribute over North Dakota, Minnesota, and very, very soon Wisconsin. And those products vary, what's available. But like people can get our stuff if they go to the website and order. It just might be a little bit more limited, the products.
Do you serve food at the actual place, or is it just booze?
That has been kind of like all over the place, because the way it works here in our local ordinance, as far as being a manufacturing beverage company, we have like the lowest tier, as far as like food licensing goes. We kind of recovered there. So when we first opened, like we had zero experience and zero like expectation of like being any sort of like restaurant or whatever and like serving food. But like once the local government was like, hey, you can also serve food under this license as long as we approve your menu, we're like, okay, cool. So we started doing small plate stuff, cheese plates, paninis, snack food, pub food kind of thing. Then we kind of expanded and we got to a point where we were doing a little bit more of like a restaurant thing, even though that wasn't what we wanted to do, and got to be kind of a burden because we were trying to focus on just making hard cider.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what I'm focused on, playing cool music. So how about we listen to some and you can continue your cider restaurant journey story. How about that?
Sounds good, man.
It does sound good. Also like this song by Zane Alexander called Blue Star. And that's what we're going to listen to, so let's do it. And that was Blue Star by Zane Alexander on Andy's Playlist Warehouse, playing cool songs and talking to cool people. We're talking to Ethan right now, who is a cool guy who runs a cidery. Did I make that up? Is that true?
Cidery, cider bar, urban cidery.
So the point is that you sort of had this thing where you were like, you didn't want to do food, then you kind of did food, then you did more food, and then you were like, screw this food thing? Or are you still doing food?
Yeah, so we got to a point where COVID hit and shut everything down, and we had to survive. And it gave us a moment to kind of step back and kind of focus. So when we reopened, we said, no drinks, or sorry, no food, just
You really changed focus, eh? Just like, welcome to the cidery.
That's food.
Hope you like fucking bowls of peanuts, because that's all you're getting.
We're like the MTV of cider bars. Yeah. No drinks. That's a deep cut for millennials.
Let me explain the joke to them.
No.
Because MTV, even though it was called music television, they...
Wasting time. No, we're not going to do food. We're going to just focus on the drinks because that's what we set out to do. We have a lot of food trucks that come in, and there's actually a commercial kitchen right next door. They will sometimes do catered events throughout the week. So, and that's been working out, but we're slowly kind of coming full circle to the point where we're like, hey, maybe we should do food again. I mean, whenever we do it, people really like it, but it's just like, it's just such a whole other aspect of the business. Again, like that's not the focus. So it's a struggle when you're in the service industry and you're trying to just get customers in the door.
I never thought about that as an idea of having some sort of symbiotic relationship with like another business. We do the cider, but then you like let a food truck kind of park in your parking lot or whatever and go
No, that's very common.
Yeah, I never even thought about it, but like it seems cool.
It can work. I feel bad for them when it's like, hey, do you want to come in on a Monday night and it might be dead, but like they're into it. And there's like sometimes we invite that same food truck on a Friday or Saturday or whatever event night and they make a killing, and like that's kind of their thing, is like it's just always ups and downs. I mean, for us it's like we're just trying to just get people to come and have a good time, and food is like so integral to that. You know, you're serving alcohol, so it's like a lot of times like you want to make sure people are getting home safe, so if you don't have food, that could be a problem. If some people might not stay as long because they're being responsible. So that's part of it too. Again, like we didn't really have any thought of food when we opened. We just wanted to have the tap room and manufacturing, you know, like do the packaging side of things. And that's still the focus moving forward. But I don't know, like the food that we make, sometimes we do make our own food. And when we do it, people like it. So it's like, maybe we are restaurant people. I don't know. But it's just a whole other business. We're just like running two businesses now. I don't know. It's a lot of work. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what eases the burden of work is listening to cool music. Like this song from ORAX, for example. And it's a good time, and we're going to listen to that, and then we'll keep on chatting with Ethan. This is Miriam's Night by ORAX. And that was ORAX with the track Miriam's Night. And I'm here right now with Ethan, a cool listener and supporter beyond synth. He runs a cidery that also makes food sometimes it doesn't. There's a food truck. What else is going on in your life besides cider?
Oh, well, I will say, before we go further, Andy, I wrote a note down. I wanted to address the fact that last time we talked, which was 2 years ago, which is crazy.
It is crazy. You're crazy.
I need to clear the air, I feel like. I need to, clear my name.
The last time you called me a racial slur, are you going to apologize?
I need to make a public apology. So we were talking about the clinical trials I did.
Oh, yeah.
And still do. Actually, I'm doing one right now. And it's funny because when you were going to post the episode, you're like, hey, listen to it. And does everything sound good? I was like, actually, I made an error in what I said, sir. And can you make a correction, please? And you're like, fuck no. That's too much work. I was like, okay, but the compensation for...
Oh, that's right. Okay, so the audience understands you participate in clinical trials,
yes.
And one of them was for some ass cream, right? And you said you did it for $300 or something, which made it sound like you were doing it for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So, if anybody was, paying attention and listening, it was like, Jesus, this guy is taking, shots up the asshole and getting paid $300 a weekend for this. What is he doing? No. What I meant to say, I said $1,500 to $300, and what I meant to say was $1,500 to $3,000. I have to make that correction. Nobody cares about, but I feel like I have to say it, for my own self. I've had some studies that have paid me up to $5,000.
Yeah, so just to quickly reiterate for people who don't remember, so last time we talked, you were basically just telling the story about how, you can get a little extra money here and there by taking part in clinical trials. I got sidetracked just because one of your clinical trials sounded really funny. For the most part, though, they just give you some pills and then just monitor what happens and shit?
Yeah, they're very boring, very basic, you literally just take a pill, sit there, they draw your blood, you watch Netflix, whatever, go home. It's very chill, easy money. Actually, this one that I'm currently in kind of sucks because we have to fucking sit there. The screening was pretty much generic as all the other ones. All right, cool, chill. And then I get there and they're like, yeah, you can't have your electronics at all. You can't use your phone, you can't use your tablet, you can't use your computer.
What? Why?
I don't know. Something to do with the drug. It's for Parkinson's. And they hooked us up to a bunch of ECG leads to read your heart rate and stuff. And they're like, you have to just sit there. And a couple of people brought books. I didn't bring books. I brought all of my electronics, which is what I do for all of the studies.
Right.
And then I'm just sitting there for 7 hours staring at the ceiling. And then checking out, the doctor was like, how did it go? And I was like, well, it would have been cool if you would have told me we couldn't bring in our electronics. Anyways.
No, that would have pissed me off. I think in preparation, I don't even know what I would have done. I would have gone to all my favorite websites and then just printed out the articles onto paper and then just showed up with this binder of websites to read.
It kind of is a little bit of a wake-up call / interesting take on society, because it's oh shit, you mean I can't just be on my phone for the next 7 hours? What do I do? Oh, I guess I'll stare at the ceiling and have existential dread.
Well, look, what would have been real nice is while you were sitting there, you could have listened to cool music. So, although that did not happen, it can happen right now, because we are going to listen to this track from VHS Glitch. This is Burned Asphalt. Alright, and that was Burned Asphalt by VHS Glitch on Andy's Playlist Warehouse, playing all the tracks we didn't get to this year and talking to awesome people like Ethan, who we've come full circle and are talking about the clinical trials again.
I'm sorry, we shouldn't be.
No, that's okay. I know that was the thing that was sort of a bugbear, because that one particular clinical trial was for like a hemorrhoid thing, right?
Yeah, most of it is just like, take a pill, draw the blood.
Take a pill, leave a pill.
Yeah, leave a pill. See what happens with the next guy.
So wait, were they afraid for the Parkinson's medicine? Like, was there some weird thing where they're in the lab, like, you can take the pill, but if you watch TV, your fucking heart will explode or whatever? Like,
you know what else was crazy? Is when I walked in the room, all of the fluorescent lights were changed to like a really weird, like, dull yellow bulb, and I was like it hurt my eyes at first. I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck? And they're like, yeah, the drug is sensitive to light.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, you're a brave man, because at that point I'd be like, then I think you fucked up. And I'm gonna walk out. You know when people like make inventions, but there's like one really stupid flaw, and like it seems kind of fundamental to it's like the stupid fucking SpaceX internet satellites, where like, these are developed for people in rural areas. Also, if there's a tree in the way, you don't get a signal. And it's like, you know, rural areas are full of trees, right? I mean, like, unless these satellites are designed for people in the desert, that's going to be an issue with your product. You know, like, we just made the most amazing winter tires ever, but you can't use them when it's cold. What are you supposed to do with a pill bottle that can't be exposed to light? Like, just
but Andy, I want the cash.
Give me the cash. Give me the cash.
That's me when I go in there. I don't care what they do to me. I don't care what's happening around me. Give me the cash.
Yeah. I'm always picturing it'd be funny too if they literally give it to you. Like, you walk in, there's the guy with the clipboard, and he just like holding like a fucking stack of bills.
Yeah, man, that's how it works.
Is it?
Exactly how it works.
I don't believe you, Ethan. They give you an envelope afterwards. Some other lady gives it to you.
Yeah.
It's not the scientist. And the scientist is not a lady. Let's be absolutely clear here.
Andy, you are gonna egg on your face. There actually is one...
Man, now I'm gonna get canceled for nothing?
Lady doctors in there.
Yeah, well, you know, hey man, it's a brave new world. And we're listening to cool music, and we're taking pills that can't be exposed to light. What else? Cider. Dude, I'm just proving to you I'm listening to you. That's the most important thing. When I take these calls, it's like I want people to know that they're heard.
Yeah, man.
Well, how about this? Let's listen to another song. I want to listen to this one from the Starfighter. And this is a cool track. This is The Heist. that was The Heist by the Starfighter. And we're here with the Ethan today on Andy's Playlist Warehouse, listening to cool songs and talking to cool people. I'll probably hang up on you soon. Is there something you wanted to talk about?
Have you seen any good shows lately? I haven't heard you talk about any like live shows that you've gone to. Has there been any synthwave related or non-synthwave live acts? I know that you're like not in Toronto anymore.
Yeah, that's the big factor here. So the answer to your question simply is no.
So, okay, follow-up question. I don't know where or how far away your town is. I feel like a lot of people don't. Like, what does that mean? How far out of Toronto are you? And does like anything ever come to, I don't know what size of town you
Oh, no,
live in.
I live in a town of like 2,000 people. So no, nothing comes here.
But like how far away, and like could you travel back to Toronto? Or
Yes,
whatever?
yeah, no, we're 3 hours away. So like honestly, when we lived in Toronto, we were back here like every 2 to 3 weeks. Because it's like we're, like where our parents live and my childhood home and that sort of thing. So we were always here. All the holidays were here, summertime we're here. Anytime the kids had time off school, we were here.
But like the closest thing would be going back to Toronto. There's no like city in between that like gets musical acts.
Like not that I care about.
Sure.
There is a nearby town of like maybe 20,000 people. So like any bands that end up winding up playing in this area are mostly like some like classic rock country type thing that are like, not a draw anymore. But like anything significant is just happens in Toronto. Like that's pretty much.
I mean, it's like I live in a very small town too, but not quite as small. I've actually had some synthwave acts coming to my town in the last 5-ish years and kind of been interesting. But I live like by Minneapolis, St. Paul, which is about the same for you to like go to Toronto. It's about 3 hours. Recently I saw Touch Sensitive and Roosevelt in St. Paul.
Okay. Was that good?
A very good show, which was fun because I went with my wife and we don't always like I drag her to a lot of shows. Not to say that she doesn't, like, she likes plenty of good stuff herself too, but like there's not a ton of overlap, but like when it overlaps our interests, it's always like a good time. And that was like one show where there was overlap and we were both very excited and having a good time at that show. It's not like synthwave per se, but I feel like most of your listeners would, if you don't know Roosevelt and if you don't know Touch Sensitive, go check them out because you probably like them.
Well, I feel like I played a Roosevelt track on the show before, right? Like that's synth pop.
Yeah, Roosevelt, German artist, synth pop, fucking fantastic. Every release, solid. Yeah, I think everybody, a listener of your show, would like Roosevelt. Touch Sensitive, an Australian artist. He started his career in a band called Van Shee. Some people might know, but he's done some solo stuff since, and his whole solo thing is amazing. Such an amazing show to go to.
I still would like to go to more things. The problem is, during COVID, they shut down a lot of like bus routes, and so the problem is like there used to be some consistent buses that would go from my area to Toronto. I mean, they did a little detour here and there at some of the, like I would go 2 hours to like one kind of city and then take another bus to Toronto or whatever, but like, so I could theoretically go to Toronto by myself, like the family doesn't have to go, my wife doesn't have to drive, like that kind of crap. But since they shut down a lot of the bus routes, there like kind of isn't a convenient bus anymore. Not only am I sort of 3 hours away, like in a small rural area, but like the only real way for us to get to Toronto is to drive ourselves, which complicates things, because if it's like a synthwave thing, like I feel weird going like, hey, can you drive me 3 hours so I can go see something that you have no interest in? You know what I mean? Like it's just not cool. Like if I could easily go myself, if there was a train or like a, like every day there's 2 buses that go to Toronto or whatever, but they stopped doing that. So the only time I'm ever really going to head back to Toronto specifically for like a show is it's going to have to be like a special occasion kind of show. Like if it was like another Outland, I'd be there in a second. but like it's kind of hard for me to justify going to see sort of like a smaller artist and like having to get an Airbnb and then like travel both ways and figuring out the time to do all that shit.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to do that just to go to like one of those synthwave arcade nights or whatever, even though I would see friends or whatever, but it's hard to be like, is this worth $350 to go, see these people for an evening? And, so it has to be a thing.
Right.
And speaking of things, let's listen to some music and then I'm going to say goodbye to you. How about that? So let's listen to this track by Destryur. This is a cool song. This is Terrify. And that was Terrify by Destryur on Andy's Playlist Warehouse. And we got to say goodbye to Ethan, aka Toots now. He's got to get back to work running a cidery and eating pills and putting them inside of you.
Well, I just do that for fun, mostly.
Yeah.
I can just shove that up my bum and get inside.
The point is, you're a cool guy and a busy man and a very responsible adult who runs businesses and does all these things, and I'm proud of you. And you also send me emails from time to time with musical picks that I load into a spreadsheet, and I think I go through them like once every 4 months or whatever when I get a moment. But I do listen to everything you suggest.
Yes, and speaking of which, you haven't assigned me my next mission. No Beyond Synth podcast tasks.
Well, no, because that's pretty much done.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because AI does everything nowadays.
I mean, in a way, I already used ChatGPT to combine like the information from two different spreadsheets that were formatted completely differently, and it understood how to take the info from the one sheet and put it into the other one, and that would have been like a whole day's worth of work, probably.
They're taking our turns.
Yeah, man. Anyways, look, the point is this. You've been a very helpful person.
gotta change my name from Toots though, because I'm no longer your Toots. You can't call me Toots anymore.
What? Why? Is this like a 2023 thing?
No, because I don't do anything for you anymore.
Well, you're still you're a cool guy. What's wrong with that?
I know I'm a cool guy. So what am I going to change my name to? Cool guy? That's not cool.
Well, maybe there's another name in this Japanese baseball game roster to pick from, because I got the list in front of me.
Ah, yes. Let's read that.
We got Sleeve McDykel,
Yeah.
Onsen Sweeney, Daryl Arkadeld, Anatoly Smorin, Ray McSriff, Glenolyn Mixon, Raoul Chamgerlain, Bobson Dugnut, Willie Dustis. I love Willie Dustis, actually. That's a good one.
Mike Truck. That's
Mike Truck, Jeremy Gride, Scott Dork, but it's like Dourque. Dwight Rortugel, Tim Sandale, Carl Dandleton. Fucking Dandleton. Mike Cernandez and Todd Bonzales. Bonzales, man, that's fucking pretty good.
This sounds like AI before AI existed.
That's the joke now, because everyone makes these jokes about AI, but like, AI is better than this. ChatGPT 4 writes really convincing things.
Yeah, that's what's hilarious about that whole list is like, you guys thought those were like real names? Like, what the fuck?
Todd Bonzales.
Mike Truck.
Yeah, Mike Truck is Mike Truck's good. I give them that. Anyways, listen, man, I'm hanging up on you now. So you have a lovely day, and maybe we'll catch up with you in the new year and see what other experiments you've had done to you.
No, I'm gonna hang up on you.
All right, whatever. Whatever makes you feel like a big man, okay? I'm done with all this toxic masculinity.
I have the power. I can just click on this red X here. I'm gonna hang up on you.
Well, all the power to you. And we'll talk soon.
Okay, fine. Goodbye.
Balls. All right, that's all for this episode. Don't forget to support the show and check out all the musicians featured today. There was a lot of cool tunes there, and I'm off to edit more episodes. So have a nice day and tune in next time to Beyond Synth, the best synthwave chat show there is, and give me all your money. All right, goodbye.
Beyond Synth Radio is produced by Andy Last. Check the show notes for more information on the musicians featured on the show. Consider supporting Beyond Synth at patreon.com/BeyondSynth. Thanks for listening.
Years ago, I was Chinese.